Hello and welcome back to Charwell, the Farming Agency edition. Right, so this is episode 4 of my little how-to videos and little tutorial videos that I've been doing. So in this video I'm going to be discussing the new crop types that have been added into the map, and also we're going to be talking about the crop destruction 2.0. So before I crack on and show you all the new crop types, just want to give a big thank you to Alien Paul, the mod author for Maize Plus, for checking these videos prior to release. So thanks for that, I much appreciate it. So the rye that you can see in front of me, this is it ready to harvest, so it's the 7th growth stage. Rye is pretty much like wheat, it's a member of the wheat tribe. I think they use it for flour, bread, beer, I think sometimes whiskey and vodka, so obviously it's really good that it's been added into the game. When you harvest it you can get straw, which I'll quickly just show you, and I'll show you the texture of what it looks like as well. Also I'll show you the texture of the grain itself, what it looks like, so we'll quickly just do this. So again, like I said, it's pretty much just like wheat. It's close to identical really, it's just a different type of strain of it. So as you can see, that's what the rye looks like. So quickly just go put this in the trailer, and as you can see as well, it drops straw. So pretty straightforward. I'm not going to be going into all the growth stages of each individual new crop. I think it'd just be easier to just show you what it looks like when it's finished and ready to harvest. Obviously if you're going to grow it yourself you'll see all the growth stages, but this video really is just to give you an indication of what the new crop types are. Also if they drop straw, it's obviously good to know if they drop straw or anything like that, just in case you want to plan ahead. So that's rye. So the next one I've got now on field 13 right in front of me is Triticale. Some people pronounce that differently. I might not be getting it perfect, but I pronounce it as Triticale. Basically it's a hybrid of wheat and rye. So as you can see in front of me again, this is the 7th growth stage. 8 is withered, so it's ready to harvest, that is. So quickly I'll just show you again the texture of the actual grain itself, and also just to let you know it does drop straw as well. Most of the new crop types drop straw bar 1. So as you can see, a different texture on the grain itself, a little bit more of a maybe reddish colour to the grain. So I'll just drop it into the trailer. It should automatically change. There you go, it has. So yeah, again, really simple. Not going to show you too much detail, just showing you what it is, what it kind of does, and also if it drops straw or not. So yeah, that's Triticale. Right, so the next one I've got in front of me is Spelt. So this is an old school wheat. It was pretty much used back in the day. So you're talking like BC era, it was quite common then, Spelt was. You know, for like breads and the grain kind of stuff and the flour. So it's kind of an old school grain. Kind of a bit yellow if you've seen. It looks quite a bit yellow. Nice textures though, definitely. Also I've noticed that when you do harvest this, it kind of looks a bit reddish on the ground after, especially from a distance. Again, this does drop straw. So quickly I'll just harvest it and you can see the actual grain texture. If you can see from a distance over there, it kind of looks a bit more orangey. And as I move backwards now, if you look, you'll notice that the harvest area on the ground looks a bit more red. Which I think is a nice touch. And the texture, again, pretty identical to the Triticale. So yeah, like I said, again, another brief one, but I like the texture of that one, especially how when I move away you can see that it kind of turns a bit reddish. I like the texture there. Yeah, and this is another one that drops straw. So yeah, that's Spelt. Right, so the next one that I've got in front of me is Miscanthus grass. So it's a really tall grass. It's not something that I've personally ever seen, but I know it's a long grass. So to harvest the Miscanthus grass, you can't use a standard harvester or a standard header on it, like a corn header or a normal header for wheat. What I've found the only way to do it is by using a forage harvester with a corn header on, as I call them. You'll then go through, and as you notice, it then chops up the Miscanthus and then you get it as a grain in the trailer. So as far as I know, there's nothing that's going to come from it, because you can't use a harvester, so you're not going to be able to get straw or anything like that. This is the only way I've found to do it, and obviously then you'd sell it as a grain. It doesn't go in any feed type or anything like that. It's just a grain that you're going to use and sell as. So yeah, so that's Miscanthus as well. Nice texture. So they're the main new crop types that you've got. You've obviously got the alfalfa and clover and field grass that was in Sandy Bay. I won't show you them because you've probably seen them before, but these are the newest crop types to be added. So there's two more crop types that I want to quickly show you, so I'll just quickly spawn them in now. Right, so what you can see in front of me right now is carrots, and the texture for the carrots is pretty impressive, I'm not going to lie, especially when it's been harvested, especially when you've obviously taken the tops off as well. So what I'll quickly do is I'll quickly show you now what that looks like. If we jump in the right one, there we go. So what I've got here is a little harvester that's removes the tops at the same time as obviously then pulling the carrots up from the ground. You might want to do this differently than what I'm doing, just because I'm using thick tyres, but I'll show you quickly the textures itself and what it looks like. So as you can see, the carrots are then going up into the harvester. Really impressive. I like this texture at the back as well, it's like the dirt and the mud, and if you can see, just turn that off, the actual texture itself after it's been harvested and the carrots have come out of the ground are obviously really impressive. There's also another texture when you just take the tops off, which is still impressive, and also I like the texture of when you do the crop damage. So that's carrots. So the last one I want to quickly show you is onions. So again, it's a bit like the carrots. You obviously can either use this kind of harvester where it takes the tops off at the same time as then pulling the onions out the ground, or you can get separate pieces of kit to do that, so you can remove the tops with a piece of kit and then harvest the onions with a separate piece of kit. So let's just quickly do that and I'll show you what the texture looks like for that as well. So I don't know if you can make that out, but looks pretty impressive on the onions. And as you can see, texture on the ground as well is really impressive, and you can imagine what a whole field will look like when you've done it. Yeah, so it's definitely a nice feature, that is. I like the carrots, I like the onions, and I like how much time and effort's gone into the textures itself for them. Right, so the next thing I'm going to show you is crop destruction. Right, so I've just quickly jumped over to field 15. I've got some pasture grass that's fully grown, ready to harvest in this field. I'm just going to talk to you quickly about the new crop destruction 2.0 that's in the game. If you've played Hofburgman before, you'll probably notice this crop destruction style. It's really impressive, and again, it makes the game a lot better visually as well, but also it's kind of more realistic. It makes you want to think about the tyres that are on your tractor as well. And also, if you do use narrow tyres, you'll see that it does actually pay off now a lot more than what it would with the just standard crop destruction. So what I'm going to first show you is I've got a T6 here and also a T6 over there. On this T6 I've got wide tyres, on that one I've got narrow tyres. So I'm going to go over this pasture grass and you can see what happens. So I don't know if you can notice that, but it's kind of gone down a stage. So what's happened is this is growth stage 4, so ready to harvest. This is growth stage 3 of the pasture grass. So by going over the grass itself, you've damaged the crop and you've reduced its growth stage. So it's still there. It's not like you have to replant it or anything like that. But obviously it's just made it so you are doing damage now to the grass. So all it basically does is just make you think about the field that you've got and obviously keep in mind about the crop destruction. So I'll give you an example. So if you've got a mower that's hanging off the end of this tractor and it's hanging over the right hand side of the tractor, what it's going to make you do is drive clockwise around the field so you don't damage the grass before you start mowing it, which again is realistic. To most farmers don't want to drive over their rows, or they don't want to drive over the grass before they've mowed it, so they try and aim for a certain area and drive around it in the right direction. So again, all that does is just add to the realism of the game and makes it better. Right, so what I'm going to quickly show you now is the same tractor but with narrow tyres on. And we're going to drive through this field. And as you can see, I'm doing no crop damage. So it doesn't matter what stage this is in. This could be in the first stage, second stage, third stage, or the final stage of the grass. It still wouldn't do any crop destruction. Unlike the standard crop destruction, if you drive over it in the final stage, that's pretty much when you're going to do the crop destruction. I think it's after the second growth stage, that's when you're going to do crop destruction. So again, makes you think it's now worth actually putting some narrow tyres on a tractor. Really cool. So keep that in mind if you're doing grass. But it's, like I said, I like it. I think it makes it more realistic, and obviously it's also really impressive. Right, so let's talk about crop destruction on crop destruction, if that makes sense. So what I mean by crop destruction on crop destruction is, in this field here, field 16, it was rye. I then harvested the rye, and this is what the texture looks like when it's left. So it's kind of like the chopped up version of it. It's what's left of the crop itself after you've obviously gone over it and harvested it. So I just want to show you quickly what happens when you then go over it again with a wide base tyre. So as you can see there, it's actually done some form of destruction on the harvested crop that was left. If you zoom out, or even if you go into the main menu, you can see it in better detail, but I'll do that in a second. But I think that's, again, it's more visual, that is. It doesn't impact on anything you're doing, but it obviously is realistic, and it means that you've got to think about what you're driving over, especially grass and stuff like that. So again, I'll just confirm that if you drive over again with narrow tyres, that you're not going to get that kind of destruction. So you're not going to get the second destruction. So I just want to quickly show you this. I put my name in the field. So it was a harvested field, and I've done the secondary destruction on it and put my name in, so that looks pretty cool. So yeah, crop destruction, really impressive. And also the new crop types, again, really impressive, and also adds to the game. So that's where I'm going to end my little tutorial / how-to videos on Welcome to Charwell, the Farming Agency Edition. Hopefully one of the videos has helped you out, or at least taught you something that you didn't know. If it has, give that video a thumbs up. I appreciate it. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel for more videos on Farming Simulator. See ya.